The one thing I hear people say more than anything else is, where are all the affordable electric cars? Well, I've moved heaven and earth today to find you one. Of course, I realise this isn't a car, it's a quadricycle. The whole thing only weighs about 450 kilos, of which I think 100 is the battery sat under this seat that I'm on. And as a result, you're not going to win any land speed records in here. This will only do 50 miles an hour, which is what I'm doing now. And it's really noisy. But even though this isn't some super duper spectacular electric vehicle, I've been really excited about test driving this because this holds so much nostalgia for me. The Renault Twizzy was the first ever electric vehicle that I drove. We drove it in Sardinia. There were 6 of us, 3 couples. And it was just by chance one day we were walking on the beach and we saw they were hiring these Renault Twizzys. They weren't cheap, but we thought, well, what's to lose? Let's give it a go and have an explore of the island. It's better than getting a hire car for the day. So it's exactly what we did. And I can honestly say it was one of the best days I've ever had. Not just because of the company we had, and not just because it was something different, we were in a fun little car, but I saw so much of that absolutely beautiful island. I found the best restaurant I think I've ever eaten in, with the most spectacular scenery. And it was all thanks to this little thing. We had so much fun that this car is, well, when I came back, I couldn't stop thinking about electric cars. And it was only then when a friend of mine showed me his new Nissan Leaf that all of a sudden everything started coming into place. So it's thanks to this that I now own a Nissan Leaf, and everything I do around electric cars has become possible. That's enough nostalgia for now. What you want to do is hear a bit more about this car. So it's got a 6.1 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for, Renault will tell you, 60 plus miles. In the real world, depends how you drive it. I'm hearing anything between 30 and 50 miles. It's got 16 brake horsepower, and I'd love to tell you a 0 to 60 time, but of course, it doesn't do 60 miles an hour. We're stuck to 50. So 0 to 28 miles an hour is just over 6 seconds. And the battery itself, well, that has to be leased. And it depends how many miles you do in this car and how long a term you take it over. But it can be anything from £45 a month upwards. Obviously, this car isn't designed to be out on dual carriageways and motorways. It's designed to be in and around the town. And that's exactly where I'm heading now. And just sitting in this car, well, it's as you would expect. It's a tiny little car. I'm behind a lorry in front. I've got to be honest, it's quite intimidating being down here. I wouldn't certainly want to be trying to overtake things, or even just be on a dual carriageway where all these high-sided vehicles are around me, because I don't know that they would actually see me. This is a fun little vehicle. There's nothing serious about this vehicle at all. I can see that for some people, perhaps a commute, or if you lived maybe somewhere where there was a congestion charge like London and you were just outside it and you're always in and out of the city centre, perhaps this would make sense to you over maybe a motorbike or a scooter. You've just got a little bit more protection around you from the elements. And while we're talking about protection, well, this doesn't have an NCAP rating. Because it's classed as a quadricycle, they don't test them in the same way. I think they batch test quadricycles and basically just say that they're not as safe as cars, I think is probably the fairest way of putting it. Yes, I've got an airbag. Yes, I've got seat belts. I wouldn't trust these doors with too much. You know, Renault generally do have quite a good safety record when it comes to these things, but it's not the sort of thing that you want something to run into you in. It just be careful in it. Try and stay out of the way of trouble, I think is probably the best advice if you were driving one of these. And acceleration, it's pretty non-existent. I gave you the times, but it doesn't feel like a rapid car. It's not the sort of thing that you're going to beat anyone doing a standing start in. But around the city, as long as you're positive with putting your foot on the accelerator, it'll give you enough to get in and out of traffic. Do you know what, coming around that roundabout, it's quite bumpy. And this suspension definitely isn't set up to absorb those bumps. It's quite a hard ride. It's all right when you're on the flat road, but as soon as you come across any potholes or any lumps or bumps in the road, you do feel that everything coming through the seat. And that's what this car does. Just going past that group of kids, they were pointing and smiling. It is a great fun car to be in. In this weather, when it's warm, it's dry, of course you're going to have fun. This is more like it. Now we're in the city, this thing really does come into its own. It's so nimble, the turning circle is minute, and I can just get in and around parked cars and traffic. To park it is an absolute doddle. There's loads of visibility all the way around it, and it's tiny because the wheels are on each corner. It's so manoeuvrable. This is where it belongs.
No passengers.
One. You can get one in the back. Can you?
One.
Yeah, yeah, a very small one.
Cheers, lovely chat.
You too. Take care.
So let's have a look around the outside of this vehicle, and as you'd expect, they come in different trim levels. You've got the Expression and the Dynamique. That's my attempt at French, please excuse me. Obviously different prices. So the Expression is £6,700, give or take, and the Dynamique is £7,500, give or take. But on top of that, of course, there's other options that you can add. So this has got not only the doors, but the flash doors, if you like. They're a £550 option, but what you get is this Perspex see-through panel at the bottom of them. This one's also got the Parrot Bluetooth system, so you can connect your phone to it via Bluetooth, but in one of the cubby holes in here, it's got some leads, so you can plug your phone or your MP3 player in, and it will play the music from it. And of course, there's a couple of speakers above your head where that music comes out from. And whoever bought this has obviously gone to the accessory shop as well, because what they've added in here is this little bag. Inside this bag is a blanket that's specially designed to fit in this vehicle, so it will clip on certain places around your seat. It'll go around you, and it gives you a nice warm snuggly blanket to wear for the good old British weather. Outside here, what we also see is this carbon fibre effect stickers, and I think this one's finished quite nicely with the black and white. I think it looks quite striking. The alloy wheels on there, you'll see they are the ones that come on the Dynamique, this obviously being a Dynamique. The Expression, they're not quite as flash as that. As we move around the front of the car, it reminds me of a bug, I've got to be honest, with these little bug-like eyes and this sort of round nose on it. Well, it's quite striking. It looks like nothing else that we've really seen before. What we also find at the front is this flap, and under this flap, not only do we have our wash wipe fill, but we also have this really convenient lead. And on this lead is a 3-pin plug to plug it in and charge up. This will take about 3 hours to charge from 0 to 100%. So anyway, you can find somewhere to plug this in, this thing will be charging. And at the back of the vehicle, again, it's got that unusual look to it, like nothing else you've seen on the road. I like this kind of, I don't know, this almost space age rear light cluster here. It's like some sort of slit in a visor, isn't it? It looks great, doesn't it? It's so different, so unusual. It's really, really striking. This particular one doesn't come with the optional extra sunroof. What it's got is this, again, some of these carbon fibre looking stickers. What I really love about this, and what I think is really finishes the car off and makes it really striking, is the doors. There's not an awful lot of security in here. It's simply reach inside. Even if you've got the optional extra side windows, which are just a zip, it's a bit of plastic flapping around, if you like, you can pull it, reach inside. So not a lot of security here, but reach inside, pull the lever, and you've got scissor doors. Look at that. What other car at this price point has got scissor doors? So let's get inside and have a look. Everything inside this car, well, it's pretty basic, I've got to be honest, right down to the waterproof seats. When you've got a waterproof seat with a drain hole in it, you know what this car's kind of designed to withstand. For something that's basically a quadricycle, it's actually really well equipped. We've got a steering wheel like you'd have on any other car. You've got a great readout that tells you about your battery status and everything else that's going on. To start the vehicle, I've got a key. Simply put your foot on the brake, turn it, wait for the beep, and it's ready to go. To drive, I've got a D button to go forward, an R button to reverse, and push the buttons together to find neutral. Here's my handbrake. It's a simple push-pull with a button on the side, and that's it. We've got things like our windscreen wipers. I can move my seat forward and backwards. It's pretty comfortable. I've got seat belts, I've got an airbag. What more do you want? This is pretty basic, pretty straightforward, nicely laid out, nice and simple. In the back, of course, because you can carry a passenger, simply move my seat forward, climb in the back, which it's a bit tight, I've got to be honest, but once you're in, it's a bit better. Then the driver can move the seat back, and well, this seat belt's obviously going to be over the driver, so that's going to be out my way. I can put my feet straight, that's not going to bother the driver. I can sit back, I've got my own seat belt back here. I'm quite cocooned in. It's I can't see an awful lot. I can see out of the side, I can just about see around the driver's head. Whether I'd want to be in here for any length of time, I don't know, but it's it's a bit like sitting on the back of a motorbike. You've got a little bit of padding on your seat there. You have got the benefit of a back support. There's somewhere for your head just to bump around on, because you do bump around a lot in this vehicle. It's all right, it's not bad. At least you can take somebody else with you wherever you want to go and explore. Apparently it belongs here with the motorbikes. Hey, of course it does. What do you reckon? They're brand new. This one's got, like, these doors are, how about that? Yeah, Lamborghini. Yeah, with all the doors and all the stuff, it's got Bluetooth and God knows what. It's about $7.5 grand new. I've just come from just outside the city, and yeah, it's a bit hairy, especially when lorries are overtaking. It's about being on a moped again. You know, remember those days when you used to, oh God, tucking in. Yeah, it's a bit like that. Right, cheers. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to win too many rounds of top trumps in this car, but did you see how happy it made people? People who were pointing and laughing. I did confirm they were laughing at the car, not at me. They thoroughly enjoyed seeing it, and so many comments and so many people wanted to talk to me about it. Consequently, it made me really happy. But I'm not saying this is necessarily the right car for me here in the UK. Anything where I need to stop and get a blanket wrapped around me rather than push a button to turn the heater on probably isn't the best car for me. But that said, obviously people do buy them. They sell not only here but elsewhere in the world. If you've got one, pop something in the comments. Let me know, what was your reason for buying it? I'm really intrigued why people buy these cars, because I understand the fun factor of them, but to live with it day in, day out, is it because you live in somewhere like London where the emission zones cost you so much and all you want to do is nip in and out? Is it because you live somewhere where you're able to tuck it away and then use it to go to the beach? I don't know. Just put something in the comments. I'm intrigued. I want to know why people buy these, and if you're still as happy today as you were when you first bought it. But that's it. That is the Renault Twingo. I've had a thoroughly good day in it. I'm now going to have another hour before the heavens open, and I've got to tuck him away in his garage for the night. So, the Renault Twingo. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, remember to like and share. If you're not doing so already, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, you take care. I need to thank Just EVs again for loaning me the car. They have a huge selection of electric vehicles at the moment, and they deliver nationwide for free. If you want to find out a bit more about them, have a look at the description below for some links.